Tonight on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, when a blind psychic tells you to leave Venice, well, you better fucking leave Venice. Tonight's movie, Don't Look Now.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror! The Year of Infamy! 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 Let's go, Brandon! Anyways. Fuck y'all. Anyways. I know who you are. We'll be like, yeah, anyways. Tonight. We're going to dive into a classic sort of suspense horror film in the movie Don't Look Now. Don't Look Now. So what is Don't Look Now about? Well, it's about a family, a husband, a wife, a daughter, and a brother. The husband does like restorations and architectures and things like that. Anyways, they're chilling at home. The daughter and the son are playing outside, and the daughter ends up in the pond and drowns and is really, really sad. But before it happens, the father kind of has like a premonition that something's wrong. He starts running out to the outside to check on everything, but of course he was too late. That flash forward a few years, they are now in Venice. The son is actually in boarding school, but the husband and wife are in Venice. He is restoring a new church, and when they are having lunch, the husband and wife are having lunch, there are these two ladies that are kind of staring at them. Anyways, one of the ladies gets something in her eye, and so the wife, she's like, oh, let me go help them out, and basically finds out that they're two sisters, and one of the sisters is blind and has this sort of second sight, and says, oh, your daughter is with you, and she's happy, and it's really great. And of course, you know, this helps the wife, because she's kind of just not really handling it. She's taking medication, but this is really giving her a sense of closure. And of course, you know, the husband, who's played by Donald Sutherland, he's pretty happy about it. The wife, played by Julie Christie. Anyways, and of course they go back to the hotel and have a wonderful sex session. Anyways, the wife wants to meet them again to kind of almost like sort of try to see if they can have a seance. And what happens is a bad premonition. A premonition that the husband is in danger and should leave Milan. All the while, in the background, some murders have been happening. So, you know, some of I want to say like the city's on edge, but it doesn't seem like the city's quite on edge. But so there's this backdrop of these murders going on. There's this premonition that Donald Sutherland's character is in trouble. And of course the blind lady also says he's got the gift too. I think I can sense that he has got the gift, that he is able to see things. And honestly, see things Donald Sutherland does. He starts seeing some premonitions of himself, but he can't quite make heads or tails of it, because, you know, he's, you know, kind of denying that it's real. He also, you know, isn't practicing it or believing it or really like honing it. So anyways, their daughter, when she died, was wearing a red raincoat, and there are a couple instances where Donald Sutherland's character sees this childlike figure wearing a red raincoat. And then, of course, you know, it's like, things like that, visions of his daughter and things like that. So eventually things go down, and I don't want to tell you the rest of the movie, but let's just say that, you know, the Donald Sutherland's character kind of gets involved with possibly the person going around and doing the murders. So let's get to those scores, shall we? Violence and gore, I am going to give this a 1 out of 5. There is a bloody death at the end. Oh, but overall, there's not really much of anything else going on in this movie, violence-wise. So, yeah, just a simple 1 out of 5. Shock value is a 1 out of 5. There is some kind of creepy atmosphere to this movie, but nothing like too spooky. In fact, this movie is more, I would say, more artsy, a kind of a movie, a more emotional mood type of movie than, let's say, like a downright creepy, jump in your face horror movie. So 1 out of 5. Moving on to plot, I am going to give this a 2 out of 5 because I know what this movie is trying to do and I appreciate what it's trying to do, but it is just, the plot is just so, like, it feels so run-of-the-mill and it drags. It is, there's just a little bit, I don't know how, like, I don't want to say boring because it's not technically boring, but I can see why people would call it boring. It needs to have more stuff going on. And it meanders a bit here and there. There are things that happen in this movie that probably don't need to happen. And because of it, and this movie is almost 2 hours long, so it's not like it needed padding, but it just seems like there could have been a better job of getting the psychological factor going on, and having it be a bit more pithy or whatever you want to call it, more focused and straightforward. And so, yeah, I'm giving you a weak 2 out of 5. Moving on to acting, I'm going to give this a solid 4 out of 5. Donald Sutherland, great job. Julie Christie does a great job. There's a lot of Italian in this movie, and it doesn't have subtitles for when the Italian kicks in. So, I don't know. Like, I watch a lot of Italian movies, but they're usually dubbed. So, hard to say, like, how over or under they are, but they seem a little over in certain aspects. The blind lady, she does a fine job, though it seems a little hammy. Other than that, like I said, pretty solid performances abound. So I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. Moving on to Nudity. Nudity is going to get a 2 out of 5. This movie has kind of an extended love scene, and also a little, before that, a bathroom scene where I get to see a bit more of Donald Sutherland than I probably would have ever wanted to. More than I would ever wish to see of Donald Sutherland. Something for the ladies. But it's just, yeah. But Julie Christie's body's nice, so, there you go. You do see a bit more of her than him, so I guess, whatever. Anyways, 2 out of 5. Wasn't expecting to see that much of Donald Sutherland. Anyways, moving on to enjoyment factor. Unfortunately, it is only a 2.5 out of 5 because this is a slow burn of a movie that really doesn't burn until the end. So it's like a slow smoldering or a slow smoking until you get to the end. And so there's just too much. The problem with this movie is that, it tries to be pretty artistic and moody and emotional, but it takes too long and meanders too much. And there's a difference between slow burn, like an awesome slow burn, like the Japanese version of Darkwater. Mind you, I said the Japanese version, which does the slow burn magnificently, and a movie like this that just kind of meanders into a shocking ending. And honestly, I think this is like, where like the classicness of this movie is all in the ending. That's what everybody talks about is the ending. No one ever talks about the stuff leading up to it, probably because there's not really much to talk about leading up to that ending. And that's the sad thing. I mean, it's still worth a watch, but just steel yourself into what you're getting into, because this is going to be very, very ponderous. It is going to be very monotonous. I don't know, maybe not monotonous. It's going to take its time getting to where it goes, and maybe the ending is not satisfactory enough for me. Plus, unfortunately, it was kind of spoiled for me, so that might have really messed it up for me. So if you have an idea to watch this movie without being spoiled, perhaps the ending will have enough impact and weight to make everything worth it. But to me, it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't a waste of time, but it wasn't like I'm going to be clamoring to watch this 15 times, maybe a couple more times, show a couple friends, things like that, especially if they don't know how it ends. That's probably, for science to see how they react to that. Anyways, so moving on to my overall impression, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Like I said, for me, it was a bit too slow and not a lot of stuff happening. However, it is a well put together movie. Like I said, the plot has a lot of problems, and it really could have used a little bit more buttoning up. But overall, it's a visually nice movie. Going through and seeing the streets of Venice, or the waterways of Venice, and it does definitely hold some interest throughout the movie, trying to figure out the weirdness that's going on. But yeah, I definitely needed a few more accidents happening to Donald Sutherland, maybe? I don't know. Anyways, so still 3 out of 5. And that averages out to a 2.2 out of 5. And that's kind of what you get when you don't get a lot of bonus points. Even though Nudity score of 2 is pretty high in comparison. Most of the time it's 0. Heck, last movie it was only 0.5. I'm just saying, they're not all going to be Nightmare Sisters. Okay, but yeah, it's definitely, I think this generation will probably hate it, because this generation seems to have attention deficit disorder built into them. They just seem to everything's got to be fast in your face and going. And so they would probably definitely hate this movie, because they're just like, it's boring, nothing's happening. People are talking, and then they're walking around and there's music. There's music and they're walking around and the camera's not being all fast and jump cutting all over the place. It wants me to feel things. It wants me to use my mind. No. Anyways, I don't know. Anyways, well, there you have it. Don't look now. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? The madness has gripped me, as you can tell. Anyways, so thank you again for watching another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. And remember to stay scary, Internet. And also, if you see something that resembles your dead daughter wandering the streets in another country from, outside of the one in which they died and have been interned, perhaps it's not your daughter. I'm just saying, perhaps you could be wrong. I'm just saying. It's quite possible. But then again, it might be. So who knows? 50-50, right? Roll the dice, huh? Roll the dice. I'm saying don't roll the dice. Anyways. Stay scary, Internet.